Friday afternoon. Don't be abusive and controlling. Mr. Hemi, Megatron, Timothy, Saint, Tragloti, Char is in the house, a new subscriber. Oh, Christian Henny. What song is that? Motley Crue, Just Another Psycho, off Saints of Los Angeles. Their very last one, which is, I think, a very good album. I think it was #1 when it came out 15 years ago. Boy, but he can't sing anymore. Now, let's take a look at today's story. What is the deal with women, ex-wives, deleting ex-husbands? We know one in Park City that just happened. She poisoned his cup with fentanyl, and he knew if anything happened to him he would tell that his family should know that she did it. Well, he died. She's now in jail, going through the trial and so forth. Polska's back in the house. But here's another one. I don't know if you guys are following this one. Joe Biden can suck it. Sigma Rodan is in. Good to see you, brother. Didn't Motley Crue, are they still active? Well, Motley Crue's a shit show now. I would not go and see them anymore. Mick Mars is in and playing. But anyhow, the theme of the story is, what is the deal with let's go back. Jodi Arias. Remember the gal in Phoenix that deleted her husband back in the day? I don't know if it was a husband or boyfriend or I think they were fiancés. But she brutally took care of this guy. And then she's in prison. And then, Phil Hartman, obviously the actor back in the early 2000s or late 90s, I think, his ex-wife deleted him. He was on Saturday Night Live. Funny actor. R.I.P. Phil Hartman. R.I.P. to everyone that's been deleted by an ex-wife. Now, there are ex-husbands that have done the same thing. So, again, this episode is about what is going on in the last 6 months. Actually, last year and a half, we've seen quite a few stories. And there's one story I'm going to talk about in particular, which is Jared Bridgegen, I think his name is. He was a Microsoft exec where the ex-wife left him, got with some Latino personal trainer. She devised a scheme with another person to put a tire in the road. The guy was picking up his daughter or taking the daughter home. There was a tire in the road. He gets out to move it. He's deleted by a couple people in front of the 2.5 or 3-year-old daughter, something like that. And now she just got arrested yesterday. She actually moved from Florida to Washington, and within the last year and a half, they arrested her. She was basically had hired somebody, used the new boyfriend, or actually she married the new guy to do that. Those two were arrested in March, and now they have arrested the ex-wife who had 2 kids with the husband. What is going on? And that name was Jared Bridgegen. Her name was Shannon Bridgegen Fernandez that did it. But we're seeing this. We're seeing the deletion. Could be for life insurance, could be for control, could be for a lot of different reasons. But the reality is, I think we're going to see more of it on both sides, unfortunately. And I wish that, and there's television shows that cater to the deletion of ex-wives, ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, and so forth. But it's unfortunate. What are we seeing? Why is this happening? Why delete? Has this been going on for eons? Did it happen 2,000 years ago? Could be. What about the women nurses that have been deleting patients? They just found this new gal, a lady, neonatal nurse who takes care of infants that are born very underweight and so forth, and she's deleted 7 of them. It's very interesting, the psyche that's going on. And it happens to be that a lot of these ex-wives and ex-fiancés that are deleting their significant others, are in the range of 29 to 37 years old. Think about that. There's more news, men are not getting married today, more money for single town boys. Well said. We all know women never do much jail time compared to men. Correct. She deleted him. Fry that biatch 100%. Temporary says absurd stuff. I would say it's quite absurd. But what is the reasoning behind this? What is the reasoning? Or is it just following a specific pattern that's happened over hundreds of years? Female entitlement, says Timothy. I wouldn't disagree with that. Many women murdered their men who promised to love them. Yeah. What about Lorena Bobbitt that took care of her husband's appendage? I don't know, what was it, 25 years ago? Cut it off, threw it out the window. What about women that have used a hot metal knife to inflict damage, during the night and so forth? They do get very little jail time compared to if a man did that. Not just female entitlement, but also manipulative female psyche. A man will delete somebody based out of emotions. And I've known a lot of guys that found out their exes were cheating on them, or their current wife was cheating on them, and they flipped the switch. I have one friend in particular that I talked out of doing that. He was actually in the car going to take care of somebody. I said, turn around, you'll never see your boys again. Luckily, that didn't happen. But men lash out emotionally. Saint says, typically women use passive forms like poison and venom. What's disturbing is women are adopting male methods without consequences. Well said, Saint. Shout out to Billy the Goat, another OG. Good to see you. Check out Billy's channel. Good stuff over at his locale. Seraphim is in the house. Good to see you, Seraphim. CJ, honestly believe a lot of midwives have turned off the helpless. Absolutely. There was a lady, I think, it was in the US or the UK, that was taking care of ICU patients and deleted. They say she deleted probably over 250 in the course of 20 years, and then she got caught. Infamous Cheesecake. Big ups. You see the case from the UK about a female nurse. That's exactly. I just talked about that earlier. She deleted 7 little ones and tried to off 6 more. Why? Why are we seeing this? Now, again, we're not talking about the men that do this. Many men have done and deleted other folks. I believe a lot of them do it out of complete emotion. They're in their emotions. They're in a rejected state. They're in a jealous state, and that never bodes well for anybody. Rad found out his lady was having an affair on Rad. Did it hurt? 100%. But I never had the desire to off somebody. Number one, I have no idea what she told him. She could have said she was divorced. Who knows? Is it the guy's fault? I believe that she lied to him and told him that the relationship status was different. But at the end of the day, it was at the end of the marriage, and big deal. I deal with it, right? I deal with it. Walk away, gents. It ain't getting any better, said Timothy. Gerald Montani is back. Good to see Gerald. I just went live. For anyone listening, I just went live 5 minutes before. I just wanted to reach out to the brethren and have a quick discussion. Now, you're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that up. How about that? Lori Vallow. Well said, Megatron. I was going to bring that up. She deletes her 4th husband and her kids, right? We're seeing in the last year and a half at least 3 examples. And she was I think she's my age, just turned 50 or 51. But she deleted, and he deleted, that Chad Vallow guy. He deleted, I believe, his ex-wife or his wife before. It is nuts what's going on. And people think they can get away with it. Deleting is not the answer. Deleting is not the answer. It's us against them, guys. The cavalry ain't coming. We're on our own. Monk is the logical and safest life. There is nothing wrong with being a monk. A monk believes that he doesn't need external validation. He doesn't need somebody to make him happy. He decides that his purpose is more important than dealing with female nature. Is there anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. So many content creators think that these people, we're just a bunch of losers picking our nose, playing with our nutsacks, watching video and porn, being depressed all day. I have an amazing life. Am I a monk? No. But what I'm saying is, when you understand female nature and you can navigate accordingly, you can allow who flies on your plane. Who flies on your plane? Women are master gaslighters. Never take your anger out on brother for a female's deceit. Well said, Saint. Well said. Well said, brother. Zero Cool 577. Hey, Rad. Happy Friday. Glad I caught this stream. We are glad you are here, brother. Tell me where you're from. And if anyone's new that wants to comment, let me know your location. Mauchi Alex is back. Un placer. Un placer esta tarde. So that is the reality. You've heard countless stories of, there was another lady I heard, I don't know, it was like a year and a half ago, where she kept trying to poison by using like rat poison or something. It never worked. And finally, the husband or the guy caught on, and she was prosecuted for that, for attempted deletion. Zero Cools in Wisconsin, land of cheese. Land of cheese and well, that's Milwaukee. Well, it's Milwaukee, Wisconsin, right? And land of beer. Some of the biggest beer brands started in Milwaukee. Good to have you, brother. Jim King, hello, Rad. Just jumped my girlfriend at 10 months 4 days ago, and I feel alive again. Jim King. On his purpose. I don't delete physically. If you want to delete someone, just cut them off, ghost them, be done. Let them go. Say, I'm done with you. I'll remember the good memories and don't contact me again. Right? T-Talks in the house. Greenskin Kratos. Howdy, brothers. Good to see all of you. Haven't been able to be in your previous stream that I've been. Rad, you're doing the Lord's work. Keep it up, brother. Appreciate you being here, Greenskin. We're trying to help each other. I guess what it comes down to, red pill is reality, blue pill is fantasy. But I think red pill is the ability to control one's emotions and to understand logically who our, well, if we were playing a game, who our opponent would be and understanding their playbook. It's really that simple. And instead of leading with emotions, which most men today are leading with emotions, we lead with logic. We say, guess what? She's not yours. It's just your turn. Hypergamy is real. It's part of their biological programming. And to be very, very careful with whom you associate with. That could be at the workplace. That could be with your family. That could be with your in-laws. That could, if you're married or were married, that could be with neighbors, people that live in your complex. That could be anyone. Be very, very careful. Watch your back, mentally and physically and emotionally. Coming live from the MGTOW Mountain. There you go. I Am John is back. Good to see I Am John. I'm mowing the lawn. Are you using an electric mower or a gas mower? I used to love mowing lawns in our big house. I don't mow lawns anymore. Very rare. I do mow a lawn every now and again. Sheila Labar deleted physically and she paid the price big time. A lot of stories. But why do women do it? Emotionally? Control? Do they compartmentalize the fact that they don't think they will get caught? Are they going to use the reasoning that they were abused and controlled and they had to take care of it for self-defense? Just walk away. You can't polish a turd. You can only get shitty fingers. It just ain't worth it. Let them burn. Very careful, folks. Be very, very careful out there. 15 years ago, old hag told me there will be a day where wives will delete their husbands who knew she would be right. Boy, she called it. Man, Nostradamus as a lady. But again, men need to control their emotions as well. I told about the story about a guy down south here about an hour away from me. She was divorcing him. She kicked him out of the house. He was a private pilot. His daughter and wife were apparently supposed to be in that house. He goes and flies his little Cessna plane into the house. Fortunately, they weren't there. And he lived. They took him into custody. He's now rotting away in a prison cell. Why? He let his emotions get in the way. Unfortunately, he probably had no idea about channels and groups like this that share with each other the fact that this is part of the course. If you're going to get in a relationship or marriage, you're going to find out later female nature. You're going to think you know it then, which I thought I knew it, but I didn't. And we try to help men to avoid potential situations like that. Billy the Goat, laying it down to Chinatown. If they ain't deleting, they're at least plotting it or thinking about it. I wonder how many thoughts go through a wife or a fiance or a live-in girlfriend's mind about deleting that person. A lot of it's due to control and life insurance. You know, and how about the women that delete the kids? Right? They delete the kids to run off with a new lover. Diane Downs, the chick that tried to drown her two kids, I don't know, 25 years ago, somewhere in Georgia. What about the gal that drowned her 6 kids or 5 kids in the bathtub in Texas? There's stories all over, one-offs, two-offs of, but they always get the attention when there's multiple kids, right? Again, emotions, mental illness. It's sick. Never once did I ever have that thought in my mind. My thought was, I don't think this is going to work when the kids grow up, and it will be done. Or I don't like her, or I'm annoyed her. I need to leave and get the hell away. Billy Goat says, and they're plotting every day. Well said, brother. I don't condone deletion, but I understand it. Isn't in France, if you are in the heat of passion, is it a crime of passion and there's deletion, you're not held accountable? Is that still a law? Iron Heart's in the house. There you go, brother. Good to have you. We are. A typical evil-minded female would have compassion of a black widow. True story. It's just interesting to see lately. It could be the pandemic, could be all sorts of things. It could be the emotional distress of relationship, the emotional stress of social media, the countless amount of data that is coming and content that's coming through our eyes and ears and brain waves every single cotton picking day. That's going to affect everybody, both men and women, right? Both men and women. We have to figure out a way to get off technology to do the things at minimum, at least an hour and a half a day, where we're thinking in our own head. We're not having external stimuli like social media. And every now and when I go on walks, sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I listen to YouTube channels that I like. And sometimes I just turn it off and just listen and watch people. But it's good to shut that shit off. Obfuscate. There you go. We got Mr. Trueblood in the house. Multiple kids means the magic vagina card is multiplied for lesser sentences. Well said, brother. Hey, I was on your channel this morning, by the way. You had Mouth and you had Doug, and I can't make who else was the other one? JR. Anyhow, guys, Brandon Trueblood is always live streaming every day from his 18-wheeler. He's got a great story too. So he reinvented himself in his 50s after he lost everything like the rest of us, and he's doing things and helping men. Good to have you, BT. Women do 60% less time in prison for the exact same crime as men. I am John. And yet we're supposed to be EQUAL. But no, we're abusive. We're abusive and controlling. What up, Brad? My friend ex-girl put a hit on him. He's a mailman, had a kid with the wrong one. Jeez, good to see you, Wolf. You see a lot of the 60 Minutes and the 48-hour news stories about women that hire these guys that take care of people. They're typically undercover agents, and they get busted. It's like, man, just let it go. Men are usually satisfied with just calling them a blank and leaving it there. Michael Hunt for 300 Trebek. Yeah. Men and women are being obfuscated. There you go. Seraphin says, yes, Rad, the passion crime is still a thing in France. That is so interesting. So if you're in love as passion in France, you're having an argument, you snap or she snaps, and there's a deletion, you're not held accountable because it's a crime of passion. Interesting. I wonder what the crime of passions, what that statistic looks like in France. By the way, I have no desire to go to France. I'm not wearing a beret. Brandon, when I get home, I'm going to punch your mama in the mouth. There you go. JLM's in the house. Good to see you, JLM. But anyhow, getting back to these stories, it's very interesting that the couple in Park City, she tried to poison him, I think, 2 weeks before on Valentine's Day, and then she got away with it, and it worked in March, like 2 or 3 weeks later. And then wrote a book about it and about the loss of grieving husband, and she completely fabricated it. Man, mental illness for 300 Trebek. It's as simple as that. The Andy Man, Google says for every 100 men that kill or that delete their blank, 75 delete their husbands. Wow, I did not know that. Thank you for that statistic, the Andy Man. Good to have you, brother. If you survive the destruction attempt, you are called abusive for still being alive. They're going to delete you somehow, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or financially. Deletion does not have to just be physical. Remember that. I was called a proud abuser in a YouTube comment by a woman. I was just pointing that female voting is wrong. I don't have a comment about female voting. It is what it is. Usually the voters back in the day had to be landowners. I think we should go to that. Crime of passion never works for men, always favors the ditch pigs. Interesting. Saint says, it was just in the news, like 18 or 19-year-old women hired a hitman to delete her son off the interwebs. Thank goodness it was a cop. Yeah, a lot of these cows, it's like, man, you're dealing with the popo, which is great. We don't want those people. We want them to be taken care of in the court of law and off the streets. But they'll probably get 2 months or 6 years and they're off. So be careful with these abusive men, right? Mysterio from Winnipeg makes his appearance. I was 6 years away from you this week. 6 hours. Dude, you should have let me know, man. I need to go up to Idaho for work. 6 hours would mean you're not in Boise. That's only 4 hours. You're either up north, Bonners Ferry, Sandpoint, Coeur d'Alene, or that's the only place I could think you'd be. McCall? Sun Valley? I would have met you out there. If men are so bad, then why is hell full of hot chicks? Boy, 304 Paradise is where the devil is. I'm sure a lot of guys are dying to get in there. You know what I mean? These women have too many options, says Lone Wolf. And they get 500 messages a day. You know why I believe that? My sister showed me her phone after 2 hours on a dating app. There was 400 messages, but close. Good to see you, Lone Wolf. Ironheart says, abusive and microaggressive. Microaggressive. Did anybody hear about that word before 2018? Right? There you go. Happy weekend, beautiful life from Laguna Beach makes her presence. Thank you. That attack Pop talked about, that ruling seems awful light. Nobody, whether you're a male or a female, should delete the other or the kids or anybody else, unless it's in self-defense. Self-defense. And even today, self-defense, like the guy, there's been countless stories of guys defending themselves from intruders and then being held up in court as deleters. So that's even a struggle. A monster mother in Henderson decapitated her husband. Wow, good to see you, Coltimus. I mean, it happens. Well, how about the guy that just deleted the runner in Maryland last week? The blondie, very manufactured Barbie that went running, had 5 kids, and was deleted. That is extreme. I don't know what the heck happened. They're saying it's a Hispanic dude, 5'9". It's a criminal. But anyhow, again, mental illness, a creeper, a stalker, a predator. That guy needs to be put on death row for that kind of issues. If it gets worse, hide out in Billy Von Baum's bunker. I'm in Grand Forks on my way back to Winnipeg. Grand Forks, there you go, brother. Good to have you, bro. I hope you're listening and driving safe. Running some errands after work, but I'm listening. Polska Bob, delivering flowers that Sims have ordered for the 304s. Just coming off of Jerry Springer. Well, Springer just passed away, but you know what I mean. Lone says, red pill is the truth. In life, you have to deal with women as less as possible. You have to understand female nature. In the good old days, people were macro aggressive. Truth, Char, truth. Good to see Char commenting again. Didn't know Rad was live. I went live 5 minutes before this. I figured you jump on, Jawar. So that's how we get through life. We have to contain our emotions as men. Men, we need to understand our emotions should not guide us. Rejection is a very painful release of very dangerous emotions. If you are rejected, if you are broken up with, if you are served divorce papers, if you are being divorced because another man is in the picture and you are rejected from that woman, that will release a significant arsenal of very dangerous emotions. And men need to learn. And those dangerous emotions and chemicals associated with those emotions could lead to either deletion or self-deletion. What do we say to men that go through this? Respect yourself. We understand what you're going through with. Many men here have experienced the same thing, so we get it, and we share with each other ways to move forward. We do not seek revenge in that regards. Our revenge is successfully working on ourselves and understanding the red pill. Zero Cool says, you can love them or understand them. You can't have both. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Beware of BVB transformers. Yeah, transformers are happening all over the place. A lot of girls are sketching out demonic influences that control them, says Wolf King Sigma. By the way, I have my original rat bones right now, multicolor, on eBay. Hopefully I'll get about 150 for them. Rad, how do you accept the fact that your child's childhood was stolen from you? I accept it. I realized in the last 8 years, I saw my boy 4 of the 8. But at least it was better than 1 out of 8. You accept it, and you look at the positive that you can. That's it. That's all you can do. Stoicism is the answer, says Char. Being stoic means you're not letting your emotions affect you or outside triggers. Emotions are triggered by thoughts. Control your thoughts and your emotions will follow. Well said, brother. David's back. Finally caught a stream. What's going on to you, brother? We are talking about men need to control their emotions while focusing on the ladies that have taken out exes. I got dragon wheels from my Frankie Hill. There you go. I also got a pair of big wheels, Vision big wheels, and a couple of cockroaches wheels. Do you think there really is a devil? I have a very interesting, we'll have to take that offside. I think the devil is within us, the emotions that cause us to react. Could be. Murder is not an appropriate response to abuse. The popo will deal with men who beat women. All these murdering broads need to be in jail. You're shit out of luck if your woman is abusing you. Just go. Yep. Ain't gonna happen, man. If something's happening to you from your lady, they don't care. They're gonna take you away. Hey, Rad, I liked your thumbnail on Paul Newman, Cool Hand Luke, and the new men's idea of masculinity. I've never seen that movie before, and I like Paul Newman in Slapshot and with Tom Cruise. Great movie, one of my favorites. Watch it this weekend, brother. Female nature is real. Now, in Cool Hand Luke, do you guys remember in the song by Guns N' Roses, Civil War? Cool Hand Luke is the dialogue where the guy says, what we have here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach. So you get what we have here last week, which is the way he wants, he gets. I don't like it any more than you do. It's that little fat prison warden, but that's where it comes from. When you are honest and battle through hardship, good friends will appear. Be positive. Don't give in to the darkness. Yeah, I think the devil could be the darkness that one feels, the emotional despair. What's the big steakhouse in Utah? Man, I don't know because I haven't been. Polska mom fell and broke her hip in the hospital waiting surgery. Well, Godspeed to your mom, Polska. Hopefully that she recovers quickly and a speedy surgery as well. It's sad. I see it all the time. The women poison the kids against the father. It's par for the course. I know several men that are devastated because their grown kids are so poisoned against it. I'm one of them. Can I hold my hand up? I've got one. Right? Beautiful Life says, this group is funny. Stay cool, guys. Hell is for hot girls. Brandon, I wouldn't trust the police or current military to handling these broads. Father seeing children only 4 days a month is unsafe and assists trafficking. Nothing good comes when you will remove the father. Nothing good. He makes great coffee and pizza. Be a good dude. Don't act douche. Be classy. Yet a guy. You don't have to act like a douche to be MGTOW. No. There's a difference between being a good guy and a nice guy. If you're living with a cop collar, get out of the relate. Yeah. I remember back in the day, 7-8 years ago, when I first got on a dating app, before I knew all this, there was a lady cop. I'm so glad I never went out with her. She wanted to go out really bad. At the end, I just kept feeling weird about it. Brad, what do you think if a man has a female friend? She thinks of him as a brother. Does she really? She looks at him as an attention giver. And calling him a brother makes him feel the warm and fuzzies. But that is the ultimate move of, man, you're not even in the friend zone. You're in the simp bargain zone. Shout out to Polska's mom. Prayers for her. My mama's ex put a hit on him. Or my man's ex put a hit on him. Courts found out. They did shit to her, but my homie got full custody of his son. Well, that's probably one. He got lucky. That's probably one of the only ways, unless the woman's in prison or like a meth head. And I've seen meth heads still get full custody of her kids. My grandmother recently had a fall and broke one of her ribs. Yeah, when they get old, it takes a while to heal, and we're wishing the best for Polska's mom. Take her some flour, Polska. Dating apps are a waste of time. Avoid 100%. Unless you're playing them like you play a slot machine for entertainment purposes only. Every other weekend, custody is insanity. Yeah, it's guys, it wreaks havoc on these kids. Some grow up, some, luckily my kids had strong both parents, and it still sucks for them. Can't imagine what they went through because I never had to do it. Recover to your mom and hope she didn't have to get the pokey. Absolutely. Do not take the hokey pokey. I was in Boise to visit a friend. What part of Boise? Boise's great. One of my favorites. I love their downtown. I never looked at dating sites before. Well, if you're gonna get on a dating site, use it for entertainment purposes. It's funny to read profiles and to see the delusion And you got to get your shit together because I got my shit together. And I came out of an abusive and controlling relationship. So if you're abusive and controlling, swipe. What's the word? Swipe left. I can't remember which way you swipe left or swipe right. And then if you voted for Trump, swipe the other way. No Trumpers here. I want a strong conservative. I want a strong man that's a liberal. That right there is oxymoron. Ironheart, I have a question. How valuable is a woman's feelings today? Well, how true are those feelings is what we should clarify. What's the difference with a prostitute with tattoos, a shitty character versus these 304s now? Probably not much, Wolf. Probably not much. Watch out for the Tinderella, says I am John. And the funny thing is, guys have to remember, if you're going to get on a dating app, you have better odds of winning the lottery. Really. Women have too many, they literally, their brains go like this, does not compute, and they like implode because they have so many DMs from so many thirsty simps. I personally don't value them at all. They wouldn't value mine. So there you go. There will be 7 women to each man begging men to remove their shame through marriage. I believe that we're really in the last days, Rad. SCE in the house, Master Wrench. Good to have you. And that comment. I don't disagree with you. Once you move away from the dating scene, you see how worthless they are. And you see how worthless they are on the dating apps. Dating sites are a clown show. It's like dumpster diving. Generation Clown for 300 Trebek. Mysterio Meridian outside of Eagle. Meridian's full of the cookie cutter subdivisions, but some good restaurants over there, brother. At least off Eagle Road. Forget the flowers, Polska. Get her on speedy recovery roids that Arnold took after his heart transplant. There you go. Prayers for Polska's mother. Last I heard my exes when I responded with, hey, fat ass biatch. Let's be nice, guys. Nice. Remember, nice guys is what the ladies want. It was super hot all week in Boise. Cloudless skies. It was hot here too, my brother. Hot here. But I think next week we're going to be in the mid 80s. So that's a far cry from 99. Brandon says, my ex married a junkie. He OD'd and died while my daughter gave him CPR. She was 14. I was unable to get custody. There you go. It's unfortunate your daughter had to go through that, brother. Right? FJT back in the house. Rad, you reminded me. Years ago, a female cop at the gym asked me to go to a costume event with her. I respectfully declined. Guy at the gym asked me why I don't smash. I said, I don't F with cops. Too risky. Oh, guys, women cops, stay the hell away. And apparently I've heard male cops are even worse dating. They stalk them. They use their power of the badge. They look them up. All sorts of things. Not cops should date cops. That's as simple as that. Or firefighters or whatever. Good to see FJT, our Giga Chad, and his channel of wackadoodle voicemails from wackos all over the world. If you want a lesson in female nature, FJT is a channel you should check out. My mom was hooked on pain pills, and it was proven in court, and she still got custody. Very difficult for judges to strip custody from women. Again, 50-50 is, I had to fight for it. I got it. I'm glad I fought for it and paid for it. But still, if I didn't, 90% of custody would go to her. Brandon, I don't know what to say. Hope your daughter's doing well after that scene. That can't be a good memory for her. Starting tomorrow, middle of the country, middle of the oven. There you go. Went to my father's every weekend, 1 day a week after school and half the summer, damn near 50-50, and he's still mandated to pay my mother child support. Good to see D-Man in the house. I finished my child support in June. June for 300, Trebek. I used to be a dick to women. They actively pursued me. I turned nice. Women stopped coming around. Life lesson, be nice to women and they'll leave you alone. There you go. Tom Likas, 101 right there. Mom is pretty tough. She just had blood thinner issues and a pacemaker, so it Takes a while to get ready for surgery. Well, I'm sure she's in good hands. Like, which hospital is she out there? I probably know it. Joara says he had to unsubscribe from Greg. It's unfortunate, but he's changed his tune. Stop it! Nobody killed you, nobody killed you. My ex, when I survived an inner city shelter to get housing. Back in the day, I got severely sick and disabled from a big pharma drug. It's unfortunate, brother, but you made it through. You made it through. Men should not have to fight for birthright. Wow, that is a statement that I wish the government got figured. But guess what? The government gets paid when it takes the kids from the dad. It's as simple as that. Follow the money for 300 Trebek. Do you read any thrillers? I don't, Mysterio. I'd rather watch them. I'm getting you banned. Duality, reality. There you go. FJT is the bomb. Green Skin says cops in London last week got run out of Oxford Street in London by youths robbing for TikTok trend nonsense. I just can't believe that out there. Christ Hospital, good hospital, brother. That I know. Cops in England don't even carry guns, do they? What's more biased? Male judges. We had a female judge. Guess who won? The Radster. Women hate good men. If you want to lose her, be good. They do. They do not like nice guys. Ponytail police are the worst. They have authority issues and dependency issues. Without men, they have a difficult time with things. Truth, SCE. Truth. Sing it, baby. Tender years doctrine ensures that mothers get custody. Mr. Hemi in the house. Good to see you, brother. You are not wrong about that. When you fly, Rad, do you do economy or first class? Well, it depends on the price of the ticket. If the company's paying for it, I usually like to do comfort and Delta. And if first class isn't too much more, I'll get me a first class ticket. But first class is not that great. Used to be great 20 years ago. Some men are fed up with women. I think a lot of men are temporary, Good. Topolska, here's another positive. She is one woman out of many who wouldn't and never have tried or deleted her husbands. Yeah, shout out to Polska's mother. So your mom is a superwoman compared to the 304s we have today. The sleuths. The sleuths. Men need to take care of themselves emotionally. We need to literally understand how our emotions work so that we don't end up deleting or being self-deleted. The more popular a woman is, the less likely you're likely to snag her if you're a good guy. Just listen to Lycus 101. He talks about how women love projects, drunks, cheaters, stealers, liars, idiots, motorcycle gang members, felons. They don't like Poindexters, nice guys. They don't like the guy. My sister is a couple years younger than me, 2. Very attractive. And she's got this one guy that keeps sending her dozen roses. Like literally, within the last month, he sent like 6 or 7 dozen red. Like he just sent 4 dozen roses. I sent a message to her and I said, boy, he's about as predictable as ice in Antarctica. And she's like, yeah, I throw him, she's like, it's nice, but it's overdone. Like the guy has no game. If he would just do the complete opposite, she'd be into him, but she has no desire to hang out. Delta is great. How light do you pack? I do not like checking bags. I pack very light when I fly. Rad will never change his tune. Yeah. Carry on luggage. There you go. No more checking and everything was a smooth trip. Yeah, I don't like checking bags because you can lose them and you got to wait in line. When I do my business trips for 4 days, I have a specific attire I wear. I have a suit jacket, a blazer, typically wear nice jeans and some shoes, and then I have a couple shirts. Some workout stuff for the gym, maybe a flannel for the night, and so forth. Not hard. When I go to Mexico, bunch of t-shirts and swim trunks and board shorts. You can pack a ton in a 40-quart backpack. My backpack's great too. It's military. Brittany is getting divorced again. She's got a lot of issues too, brother. She's got a lot of issues. Can you imagine having all of that fame? I think Brittany's good looking too. Yeah, I just pulled up to Timmy C's house in Phoenix. The Revster in the house. Van life for $300. Van life with Rev for $300. Hanging out with the forever bachelor in Phoenix in the god-awful hell of the heat. But going to have probably some wonderful barbecue and a couple of cervezas. Pacifico for $300, Trebek? Good to see you, brother. Did you live with your ex before marriage, and how long? We did not live together. We did not live. We were good Christian kids. Results oriented is back. Good to see you, Results. Silver divorce is going to be happening. Guys, people believe that like divorce ain't going to happen. Divorce is going to literally, from all this COVID crap, it's going to spiral out of control. You're going to see more incels doing certain things to schools and department stores and malls. You're going to see alienation of men. You're going to see men losing their shit too. And we're trying to stop that from happening. But most of those men are blue-pilled, married, became nice guys, don't understand this content, don't understand that there is a group of men that have been through it, and we're working to help others avoid that outcome. But man, I can't imagine. I remember it was like 6 years ago, I was in Billings. I was at this fundraiser for this healthcare company. It was like, in Billings was, it's a small town, but it was like bougie. It was at this Sheraton or something like that. And, you know, they had some musicians and some comedians, and it was all for charity. And I remember going to the bathroom, and the 70-year-old man, he's got the bow tie, like the cowboy bow tie, cowboy hat. He's at the urinal, and I could hear he was crying. And I was going through my divorce. But then about 3 months or 4 months probably a year into the divorce, we're going back and forth and so forth. And he was crying. I said, hey, are you doing okay? He said, I'm still in love with my ex-wife. It's been 12 years, and she's with a new man. And he's 70, maybe 71 years old. And he just could not get over the pain and rejection that he had felt. He had multiple, 4 or 5 kids, multiple grandkids, and his wife left him, back in the late 50s, and still not over it. Results, you still singing that? All right. I see divorce as the new civil war across the world. Divorce is not good. Yes, Serena King with her shaved head talking about her OnlyFans page and how MGTOW is so hateful. Yeah, SCE. We're just trying to warn people, other men, about those 304s. I don't believe in incels. They are just men who are tragically disillusioned by blue-pilled nonsense. David Smith, laying it down to Chinatown. Jimmy Kramer graces us with his presence. Somebody help me unload my 4Runner. Well, you got the Revster right there. See Timmy. Gregory says, seek out religious women. Now think about this. Timmy Kramer met Rev through these channels. You have lots of friends on these channels. Cultimus, blue pilled at 70. Damn rough. Yeah. Guys just don't want to give it up. They don't want to give up the fantasy. Dark Blade is in the house. Good to see you. Rad, you're a better man than me trying to stop or delay as much as possible. However, those incel army are so huge, they will delete anyone to get a spoonful of poontang. Yes, and they will implode too and they'll snap. Vegas Dev, my best friend, is a successful business owner and just got married. He's blue-pilled, and I couldn't talk him out of it. You can't talk anyone. Number one, good to have you, Vegas Dev. And obviously you're in Vegas, but you cannot recruit to what we are talking about. Men that are blue-pilled believe and will cling and will die for the fantasy. Mysterio says, could you have still been married and found the red pill? No. Well, I don't think so. I don't know, maybe. I probably would have gone on and said, how can I make my wife happy, or Why am I miserable as a married man? Maybe stumbled across it. Would I have believed it? That's another thing. Seraphim says, if you got $50, you're not an incel. Religion does nothing to curb female nature, especially nowadays. Some Christian women are worse than non-Christian women. Reality wins over fantasy any day. And I wish more men understood that. I wish more men understand that reality is where you want to place your bets. Place your bets on red for reality, not blue for black. Sinead's accusation didn't work for her. Well, she's no longer there. She obviously self-deleted or overdosed or something. Dark Blade says, it's why I'm giving up on dating. It's effed me over too much. Well, guys, it's just the programming and the psyche of 98% of women is not going to ever change back. There is a 1% to 2%. My sister isn't part of the 1% to 2%. I have hung out with 1% to 2%. I know they exist, but 1% to 2% are still female and biological and are more emotional than men. Well, hopefully, a lot of men now seem to be more emotional than the ladies. Worked with a girl that was daughter of a rabbi, and she was an absolute freak. When I grew up, some of the sluttiest women were daughters of the bishops and other high-ranking religious men. Iron Heart says, here in Brazil, it costs $25. I need to get down to Brazil. Brazil. Brad, I wouldn't hesitate to tell you that behind duality, reality, I'm the second best wrench on the net. I don't disagree with that, SCE. That's why you're master wrench. Then I've got other great wrenches too. You know who you are. It's tough time now. It's 150 to no longer be an incel to get the strag roast beef claptrap. Claptrap. But listen, we understand female nature. That is the power. Understanding our emotions, understanding that there's nothing we can do to change female biological nature. And there's nothing they can do to change us. Well, they try by making us more emasculated, trying to make us all nice and simping. But again, in the end, those that have gone that route typically snap. So that doesn't work. Right? I'm not like that. I'm not like the others. Should have played a song by the Slaves to talk about that. That's what I'm saying. There's so many friendships on these on our channels, all different channels. True Bloods, Dax, Revs, FJTs, Billy the Goat. You know, I'm missing everybody else because I can't think right now. But there's so many good. Father Saunders, Chris Mitchell. There's relationships that are built and people meet in public. And it's like, man, these guys, we're the same. I've met multiple guys. In fact, Scotty Side's coming out and hanging out with me in a couple weeks. Rev has stayed at my place. Rev has gone up to my sister's house for Easter and met my kids. I met up with Timmy Kramer. I met up with Ike. I met up with a couple people out here. Just because we don't live in the same area doesn't mean I've talked to multiple creators on the phone. We have a brotherhood, watching out for each other. FJT says, incels confuse me. They hyper-focus on Chad looks, claim they can't get a woman because they aren't Chad. When I walk outside, most of the guys that have women aren't Chads or 6 foot tall. I don't get it either. Maybe they're listening to Mr. Tate. Bugatti. The AWALT says, I'm not like the others. Well, actually, you kind of are. You have the same anatomy and the same biology and the same emotional guidance system. Just don't go after women with lots of simps. It's just my personal choice. Yeah. That's a good marker. That red flag with a woman that's got multiple simps and friend zones, you want to stay away from them. There is a website on Facebook called Are We Dating the Same Girl? And there's one for women called Are We Dating the Same Man? Oh my gosh, the comments are hilarious on both sides. The men are saying, stay away, run away from her. The women are like, oh, he's got more red flags, it's nuts. So again, there are playbooks and strategies for the opposite sex for men and men for women. How is someone going to win in today's age? I was with Brandon Trueblood. If I'm going to delete anyone, it's going to be groomers, alphabet agencies, and governments. Skittles for 300, Trebek. Honestly, living a simple life is the best, says Darkblade. Couldn't agree more. Simple and minimalistic. Because their requirements list is as far more flexible than they let on. I see what you're saying, but a lot of the time, those dudes aren't with tens either. I see a lot more desperate dudes with uggos and bipedal piggies. David Smith, oh, the fatties and the fuglies, as Tom Likas talks about. I've seen it up front and personal. Normal-looking dudes with gals that are 350 plus. With the faces so round that you can't tell they look the same. Rad, please know that bottom G who turned out to be a closet, as Hammer would say. Please, not that bottom G who turned out, well, I'm not a fan. Hammer did expose that crowd, and I appreciate that, but that guy was always weird to me. It's always weird. You're not always an alpha, you're not always a beta, but you can always be a sigma and live your best life possible. I believe SCE, that's a good situation. I believe that men that claim they're alphas obviously aren't alphas. I don't really truly believe that there is true alphas anymore. I mean, we all grew up being raised by women, Sunday school by women, taught in elementary by women. So I think one can have alpha traits, but Sigma Stoicism is probably more of a way to go. Some men date, some men get married. I order pizza with coupons. There you go. And look who just showed up, the Emperor, Chris Mitchell. Good to have you, brother, up in Canada, making his pizza. No Landwells for me. You remember that sticker that you'd see driving along that said no fat chicks? Every time I see one, I laugh. I had a one-night stand with a fat biash. My hips hurt, never again. You don't want to be with the fatties, right? Can't have any alphas and betas without violence, in my opinion. Well, a lot of ladies think that they can get the alpha, and then they want to turn them into a beta. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Seen it multiple times. In fact, it happened with me. I was raised by a very strong man. Would you consider him alpha? Nah, he was a strong, stoic dad. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm looking at it now saying alpha and beta. I think beta males definitely exist. Alpha, there are men with alpha tendencies and traits, I believe. But true alpha, I think we're past those days. I think all of us, especially born in the 70s or late 60s, maybe if we were born in the 20s and 30s, would have been a different story. But again, be strong mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and morally. That would be, in my book, what an alpha would be. I thought whaling was illegal. Only for the Indians in Alaska, the Eskimos. Then she dumps him for being too nice. Happens all the time. Poindexters get dumped. People ask me, Rad, but I'm so nice. I text her, I call her when she asks me. Well, that's the reason she's not into you. Predictability. Predictability will drive them up quicker than the Sahara Desert and a sauna combined. Men need to understand their emotions. Men need to not get in situations where those emotions rear its ugly head. You will say or do something you will regret forever. There are certain tenets that we follow here. She's not yours, it's just your turn. There is an expiration for relationships. Men and women are different. We don't hate women. We understand female nature and we navigate accordingly. We understand that there is such thing as hypergamy or monkey branching or Brifault's law, which is a biological, basically ingrained thinking process that's been around for thousands of years. There's nothing you can say or do that'll change that. Ask Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Brad Pitt, Jeff Bezos, Bill. I should even put those stupid tech guys, but ask some of the very successful men out there that were divorced. You do not have a defense against a woman that utilizes her biological nature. All you can do is accept it. That is all you can do, and understand she's not yours. It's just your turn. And understand you only have this minute. You cannot make anyone love you or want to be with you or stay with you. There's nothing you can do. There's no gift. There's no amount of money, attention, fame. They'll just get bored of it. Kevin Costner, there you go. Incels claim they can't get a woman. If they said they can't a 10, then that's different. The majority of women in the world aren't 10s, not everyone. Yeah, what is the majority of women that are 10s? 0.2%? Alcohol is a hell of a drug, says Coltimus. I would consider it a drug. Nobody wants to be seen jumping around on natural bouncy castle. There you go. Rad, my state just mandated spouse coverage on car insurance policies. You have to fill out and send in a form to opt out. Jeez. No surprise, D-Man, no surprise. Do you like 4 times 76? Would that be 304? Mochi Alex. You're not wrong. I'm just saying that the blue pill male desperation is part of the problem. 100%. And that's not going away, guys. You think it's going away? No. Especially in today's generation of Skittles and effeminate and emotionals. I call them the emotionals and generation clown. The prettier the face, the uglier the heart. Well, if she's a 10, guess who her boyfriend is? The mirror. Guess who her husband is? The mirror. Guess who her side guy is? Her handbags, her watch. Who's her husband? The mirror. Who does she get ready for? The mirror. Who is she in love with? The mirror. The mirror reflects back to her. However, according to Tom Likas, those have the worst self-esteem. But they have literally no personality. If they're so worried about their extensions, how they look, that's all they're going to be worried about. Find a natural woman that enjoys being respectful, that honors the man, that enjoys the outdoors, that cooks for you, that cleans for you, that scratches your back. That might be a different story. I'm not saying to go look for it. I'm saying those are the options. David Smith brings up a great point. A girl being too hot is the first red flag. That's the hidden red flag. A lot of guys don't see it. Guess what? If she's that hot, where does she put all of her attention and validation? Into herself. What does she need to get that? Money. Who gives her the money? Simps. Which means attention, validation. Women are blinded and spoiled by today's society, Dark Blade. Could be. I don't think you make a bad argument either. I think women are interested more in the attention they can get from others, especially online. And they enjoy the amount of attention they get. How are you different than the guy that she just talked to 10 minutes ago? You are just a warm body. Logan Paul married the town bicycle. Coltimus Maximus. That's another thing. Those Paul guys are interesting. Shout out to them for making a YouTube channel quite successful. But the guy just fought an MMA fighter. A boxer fought an MMA fighter. Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather. Why don't they just go like the Paul guy? Jake Paul should just fight an MMA guy. Like if he's going to fight, or another boxer. It's like it's like a skateboarder competing against a rollerblader. John Boston in the house, the legendary John. He's got some stories. Good to see you, brother. My ex was absolutely beautiful, but the wall hasn't been kind to her. The former best friend wanted to hook up with me, and that didn't happen, but she did get a pic of me, and my ex saw it. Ex is seeing the pic for 300. Validation is a hell of a drug. Well said, infamous cheesecake. Birds of a feather flock together. The hotter the girl, the worse her personality is, in my experience. Bingo FJT. FJT laying it down in Chinatown. Simps have lots of money, and these vipers know this. In time, MGTOW will free them. Hopefully, if they get to that point. Or they're gonna revisit the same problem over and over again. The Pauls are scammers? I would have believed so. They're annoying too. How about that? I just found out there's some guy named Mr. Beast. He's like got the biggest channel or something. That guy looks like a nerd. What's the deal with that? Western women are mind F. MGTOW is the answer, says Timothy. Well said. Anyhow, this has been a good stream. You guys go have a great weekend. Remember to chase excellence. Be masculine. Don't be part of the new masculine club. And put yourself first. Remember the tenets of this reality. Go enjoy. This has been a great stream. You guys have been awesome. Great comments. Rebel against defeat. I'm out.